Hi, everyone. I'm particularly excited about today's chat with Dariusz and Remus. They're both winners of the UiPath Automation Award from last year. And what's that's exciting enough, they have a lot more to share with you about their companies and where they're heading in the future. Just a few words about this event before we start. Today's chat, it's really a great opportunity if you are an AI company, a startup, who would like to learn more about UiPath as a competition, how to apply, and hear any last-minute tips from both Remus and Dariusz. But it's also an invitation to any investor or potential corporation out there that might be interested in investing or partnering with new technologies. So without any further ado, I'm just going to pass it on to Remus and Dariusz. Maybe we can start with Dariusz. Tell us a bit more about yourself, how you got to start Salesbook, and what Salesbook does.
So, hello guys, hello everyone. My name is Dariusz. I'm the CMO and co-founder at Salesbook. And Salesbook is a sales automation company. Basically, we cover the whole process of guided selling, from meeting with customer up to hard analytical data. What we try to do is to bring this the sales process when there are people meeting face to face, despite the fact if it's offline or during the remote meeting. What we try to do is to help them sell better and try to automate this process as much as it's possible and bring it a little bit closer to something that you probably know from e-commerce, where everything is already automated. So we try to get rid of some tedious jobs from the sales representatives and make them be focused straight on the customer and their need. So this is what we do in Salesbook. And me, myself, I am the person who's trying to build startups and scale-ups like from 2005. So it's been a couple of years already. And we founded Salesbook in 2016. We are after something we call like a seed round. And today we are looking for another round. We are trying to raise something what we call like a late seed, a bridge to round A round. So this is the moment where our company is. We have a significant traction already, like hundreds of customers all over the world. And what we are trying to do is, of course, scale up our company and make it a significant global player. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Dariusz. And I like how humble you are when you say you got a bit of traction. So for everyone listening, and I'm sure, and I hope you're going to cover that later, but you also work with the likes of BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and many more. Yes. And you are based in Warsaw. So Salesbook
we are based also in Warsaw, and we are based in London, Warsaw, Rzeszów, and Wrocław. So 4 hot headquarters already. Most of our R&D team is in Rzeszów. Lots of developers and people who are trying to monetize. So marketing and sales guys are in Wrocław.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for the introduction. And Remus, how about yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Remus. I'm the COO and one of the 3 co-founders of Neurolabs. We are at an earlier stage than Salesbook, and actually that was reflected in the fact that we won the startup category, whereas Dariusz and Salesbook, they won the scale-up category. We've been around for 3 years now, and we are a computer vision deep tech startup, remote first, half of the team based in the UK, people in Romania, Germany, and France at the moment, and Ireland as well. So our main value proposition is in pioneering what we call synthetically generated data. So in computer vision, it's all about data. With these days, everyone talks about deep learning, all these very powerful algorithms, which indeed they are very powerful, but they are very data hungry. And we came to the point where you can do a lot with these algorithms as long as you have access to data. And this is a really big problem for the industry, having access to a lot of data. And this is where we come in. We use, so we are a bunch of people with experience from machine learning, computer vision, but also from the computer graphics industry. So we use computer graphics technology to recreate the real environments in an automated way. And in virtual reality, then we generate all the data that we need then to train the models. And then in terms of the commercial size of things, we are a tech vendor, so we partner up with different solution providers or like system integrators, and together we build solutions that are then used to automate various repetitive visual tasks in the real world. In terms of where we are, we raised what we call a pre-seed round last year. We are actually in the process of kickstarting our next fundraising round, which is a seed round. Hopefully, we'll get it done by the end of this year. That's the plan. I'm very happy to be here and share from my experience as a founder, but also from the experience that we had with UiPath and with the startup program as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Remus. And I'm not sure, maybe it's also relevant for everyone to know a bit more of how you guys started, because I think you are a team of 3 founders, and the idea originated inside Edinburgh, right, University, when you're still studying. How that came about?
Okay, so we don't have that classic story of working in this industry, spotting a problem, an opportunity, and starting up a business just to fix that particular problem. So we are 3 co-founders, long life friends. We know each other for many years, like more than probably too many years, and it just happened that we all intersected 3 years ago at different stages in our life. Myself, I was in academia. Patrick, one of the other co-founders, he was finishing his PhD, and then Paul, he was bringing the experience of leading a team of scientists in a computer vision startups in London. And then we were the 3 of us with a very cool technology in our hands, and we knew this technology very well. We believed a lot in this technology. And then we just started looking around. Okay, what kind of how do we put this technology to good use? And ever since then, it's been a discovery process. To be honest, we were still in a discovery phase, and I would lie if I would say that we figured out where our technology brings value most. So we have the technology. We started with the technology, and then we tried to look for applications of our technology.
I mean, it's probably fair to say, and obviously, by all means, I'm not an expert in AI, but the environment itself is changing really fast. So you mentioned that you're still figuring out some of the applications or use cases. I think that's going to be the case for a while. Because of the change we're experiencing. But it's an interesting story, nevertheless. And I don't want to go into the details, or this is a topic for another time. I think universities could potentially get better at supporting ideas that originate inside research institutions. But maybe that's a topic we could cover at the summit later in the year. So I just realized, I think everyone knows about UiPath by now, but sometimes I'm actually in conversation with people that they don't. So just for everyone that is listening, if you haven't heard of UiPath, it's one of the many European unicorns. I think a couple of months ago, we had about 70. I'm always careful to mention these numbers because they become redundant very easily. But also Europe's first decacorn. So something that we call when a company reaches over 10 billion euro valuation. And a couple of years back, they've started the Automation Awards to really help startups and scale-ups in enterprise software automation from Central Eastern Europe and Turkey. And that's one of the reasons we are here today. We're also happy as Wolf Summit to be partnering with UiPath and support the companies pitch in the finals and host the award ceremony in October at the summit between the 19th and 21st. So, Dariusz, I'm sure there are a lot of tangible benefits, actually both you and Remus, that you received probably from UiPath, and we can go for that in a second. But you raised a point on one of our earlier conversations that was actually quite interesting, and that's why do you think Salesbook and Neurolabs, in Remus' case, they were actually chosen as the winner startups? What is it that you think you bring to the UiPath ecosystem, and not just what UiPath can do for you? I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Dariusz, first, and then we'll go to Remus.
Well, I'm not sure if it's going to sound like a popular opinion, but we were always focused as a company to bring a real value. Even if it's not maybe so popular at the moment, and like going with the wave of hashtags that at the end of the day are buzzwords, and in a lot of cases means no one knows what they actually mean. So we from the very first day of our company, we focus on the customers and their real needs and how we can bring additional value to them. And like we were working previously in lots of our previous activities, we were working with the big customers, and we discovered that in many cases, like technology helps companies in many different areas, but not in a direct sales, not in this area when there are two human beings meeting each other. There's nothing between them actually. Like they are meeting and just talking, right? And the most companies they were able to give to the sales representative was the laptop with the PDF, maybe some brochures, maybe a piece of paper with a ball pen, and like go and try to explain something to the customer. And we thought, well, maybe we can bring technology also into this process, like giving some additional value. Maybe we can change something. Maybe we can bring some of these big words like automation, for example, into this process. And what we find out that like bringing the tablet into this conversation changes a lot. So when you have a tablet with our application during the conversation between the sales representative and the potential customer, the whole customer experience is totally different. And there's a lot of potential to automate processes, and so many things the app can do for the customer and for the sales representative. So this creates value for the sales representative, for the customer, for the company who is implementing this this solution. And this is how we work from the very beginning. So from our point of view, it was something useful. So I strongly believe that UiPath show that the idea of automation can be brought to another area, which maybe was a little bit like lonely in terms of not being focused on automation before.
Right, and I know we've covered this before, and we obviously will cover it live in just a bit about your collaboration with UiPath after the award and the pilot that is still very much in progress. But that's exactly the value that you're talking about, the value of bringing Salesbook potentially to UiPath and customers, and
Yep.
even UiPath itself, right? So it could be part of the UiPath broader ecosystem.
Yeah. So, let me tell you like in 1 minute about it. Yes, we are working projects at the moment. So the first one is maybe it's going to be possible to use Salesbook inside of UiPath as a company. So maybe UiPath can be our customer, and definitely there is a potential for UiPath sales representatives to use Salesbook as a tool. And of course, there is this idea of immersion labs. You probably know about it. So this like a space in which you can test new ideas, new products, new MVPs, and maybe some of UiPath partners or present customers can grab some ideas or applications, some solutions from this immersion lab ecosystem, and try to implement also in their companies.
Right.
So two projects are the ongoing ones.
Super. I'll pick your brain on that in just a bit. And regarding Remus, I know you mentioned Neurolabs. It's a bit younger as an organization than Salesbook, and when you obviously joined the startup category. But obviously there must be a good reason behind you were awarded the startup category. So why do you think that is?
Yeah, well, I truly hope there is a good reason why they chose us, and it's not just nice words. No, but jokes aside, one of the core components of the UiPath technology from day one was the computer vision itself. So for us, or like for them, it was very easy to empathize with what we are doing here at Neurolabs, because we do computer vision. So, but what UiPath is what the computer vision done at UiPath mostly focuses on is really, computer vision on your screen, like detecting different items on your desktop. And now it's a lot of work has been done towards automating document understanding and things like this. Our computer vision is slightly different because we focus on extracting information from images or from videos, but information about objects, like real objects. So I think the fact that we are kind of they probably saw us a little bit kind of like an extension beyond what they are currently doing. So we kind of we go a little bit beyond the screen. So we in a way we enable automation in the real world, like beyond the screen. And this was something I would think complementary to what they were offering. And this thing combined with kind of like the innovative approach that we are taking to computer vision, because what we are really trying to do is to change the way computer vision is done today. Traditionally, you need to go out there, collect a lot of data, images, then annotate them. Somebody needs to draw bounding boxes or pixel level annotations. And then that data, once it's curated, then it can be used to train the models. So we are saying, okay, you don't need to do the first two steps. We'll generate all that data that is very either time consuming, but also very costly for you to get your hands on. We can do that in virtual reality much faster at a fraction of the cost, and also with a lot more diversity that you would end up with if you were to collect data from the real world only. And in this way, from a business perspective, we speed up the entire model training or model generation process for these computer vision algorithms. And when it comes to the industry, I think this is very important, because this all of a sudden this enables many automation use cases to be tackled, and some of them for the first time only, due to the complexity that they require. If you are to go down trying to use traditional computer vision methods. So I think these two factors, like the fact that we provide something that I believe UiPath consider that is very important, combined with the unique way that we do we achieve this thing. I think this kind of put us in a good position to win the category.
Do you think there's any possibility they might have looked towards Neurolabs at a very attractive acquisition, maybe in the years to come?
I don't know, to be honest. I have no idea. I think we are still very, very far away.
Yeah. I think it's important that you explain the differences and similarities, because something that I was about to ask, and I think probably some startups do wonder, not just with UiPath, but in general, when you start a pilot or a collaboration with a much larger organization, where does the sort of the border finishes between here's just a partnership, here we're discussing an acquisition, and potentially where, is there an IP overlap in that regards? And how do you feel about that? How do you feel for obviously being exposing your technology to some giants, right? Technology giants. Was that ever the case? Or you already explained that this is something compatible or essentially helping UiPath as an extension and not overlapping directly?
Well, in our case, we haven't come across such instances so far. So I think we are still a bit too early in our journey. I don't know. I do hope that somewhere there secretly consider this option, or like it's taking this option, this possibility as an option for the future. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like facts, like there was like nothing around this effort.
Well, I'm going to go in a second about some of the questions regarding your experience during the competition, but I was reading an article this morning. It was about unicorns in the southeast of Europe and how essentially the region is developing so fast compared to the West. And it was a quote from Daniel Dinesh. I think it kind of came as a reply to a question along the lines of why don't we have more successful companies in this region? And he said something along the lines of, it's critical to think big. There's room for more bold thinking tech minds emerging from different areas of the continent. So I guess, that could also be an end line to finish off today, but for everyone and for you guys, just think big, because you've achieved a lot in just a couple of years since you started.
To that, what I can definitely say is that scalability, the scalability of your approach, or like your technology, your product was very important in at least during the competition. So, looking at UiPath is just normal to assume that they take scalability very seriously, but it's something that probably like Europe, like Central Europe in general, is not very used to thinking, kind of like a first thought, but definitely, yeah, take it very seriously and try to, spend time, see how you position yourself in such a way that what you do is really scalable, especially when it comes to technology, because I think, if your technology is not scalable, then it's game over, especially with so many successful recent developments.
So, Remus, you've kind of started to I guess answer one of the questions that I just had coming up, which is more around your experience through the award and what made you apply to the competition in the first place. And maybe we can stay with you, and then we'll go back to Dariusz. How did you find out about? I guess everyone knew about UiPath at that point, but how did you find out about the awards? It's not. To some extent, it's quite new, so it's been around for a couple of years. And what made you apply in the first instance?
So we originated as a company out of Romania, so it was just natural to us to look up to these role model companies like UiPath, and also we use the UiPath technology ourselves in some of our automation workflows, and that was actually what triggered the idea of exploring a closer synergy with UiPath, because we provide kind of like the one critical ingredient to an automation solution, but we don't build the solutions ourselves end to end. We work with partners. Whereas our understanding back then, and it has been confirmed so far, is that UiPath is going towards becoming kind of the go-to like ecosystem platform for automation. And for us, it was very interesting all of a sudden because in a way, it gave us the opportunity to test out like a new market for us, which was the automation market. So as opposed to having to look in various industries, case by case, we saw in UiPath a very good channel to the broader automation space. So that was kind of like the main motivation. Then, I can't remember exactly how we came across the award, but UiPath is great at marketing and PR, so it wasn't very difficult. And we took the competition very seriously from day one. I think the first application online had to be submitted quite a few months in advance, like end of August, if I remember correctly, last year. So that was almost 6 months before the final stage of the competition. And once we committed to it, we were very serious at every stage. And the process itself is very, it's quite thorough. It's quite serious as well. There are different stages, and I can tell everyone that they take every stage very seriously. And I still remember like some meetings that we had when our life wasn't made very easy. We got a tough time, but I think it was for the best because it was a lot of challenging coming from the UiPath committee, basically, in terms of not just in terms of technology, but also in terms of the business model. And for us, being I think we were just like a year and a half old. It was a great opportunity to actually improve ourselves as well, regardless of the final outcome of the process.
Yeah, I can imagine the learning curve, and I think as you it's a validation itself going through the competition, and I'm sure the feeling of fulfillment, because it wasn't easy, as you said, but it was obviously rewarding, makes it even stronger when you get to pitch in the finals and obviously win the startup category. Was that the same for you, Dariusz? So for Remus, it sounds like for him was almost like a natural process of applying because the reasons he outlined. I know with Salesbook, even last year, you guys were more advanced. So what was it that you were looking for?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What you said, pretty much similar experience on our side. I don't remember exactly how we know about the competition itself. Sometimes our current investors send us this info, guys, maybe you check something. I remember the PR and social media activity also. Yeah, we saw the UiPath achievements all the time, so probably maybe this also could be the source. However, we decided, like every time we decided to take part in any competition, we have this one goal to test out whether our way of thinking is something that resonates with the market, if other people think in the same way, or what they generally think about our idea. And what really differs this competition from the others, and is that this process of validation throughout the whole competition is something really significant. I have never met with this kind of evaluation in the startup on every stage. Like, guys, now we are going to talk about technology, and there are technology guys from the UiPath, and they are asking very serious questions. Like, and there are these business guys, and they are asking very serious questions. So it's not like this many competitions when you have this 5 minutes, you are going on the stage, and then someone is giving you the award, probably because of the impression that you make during this 5 minutes. But in this competition, this process is really, really serious. And if you want to check your idea on this level with the people that, well, achieved a lot, then you should go for it, because probably it's one of the best chances that you are going to have now. So I definitely encourage all startups, scale-ups, whatever the names are, to take part in this competition, because this is really, really good time to check whether your idea resonates with other people, with the market.
So anyone that wants to be grilled by the UiPath team, more than welcome to apply. At what stage have you guys received these questions? Was it after you submit your application and they were going through a selection process, or was once you reached the finals or the semifinals?
No, before the finals. Yeah,
Remus? Before.
Yeah. I mean, for us, it was, to be honest, I think Dariusz pointed it out very, very well. It's definitely not the typical startup competitions. And I think we all took part in some typical ones. It's a process. And actually, I mean, think about it. They even have some VC investors on their committee that basically come to the meetings, and they grill you from a VC perspective. So yeah, you have the technical meetings, you have like the meetings centered around the business model. But then in our case, it happened that at the end of a meeting, people weren't people wanted more information. Like there was need for more time together to get to know each other. So we actually scheduled another meeting. So that's why I'm saying they take it very seriously. So they put the time from their side, and they expect you to put the time from your side. And I remember they would, after the meeting, they would tell us, okay, you did well with this and that, but we would like you to cover a bit more this aspect and that part of your business, because we are not fully convinced with something. Which again, at first, you take it, a bit in a negative way, right? But then actually, once you get past that initial reaction, you start seeing the value in going through this process. And because these are people with a lot of experience, both from tech, business, but also VC world. So it's a great chance to test and have your ideas scrutinized on, from all different perspectives and angles.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it sounded like an absolutely intensive advisory session where you would get a lot of valuable input, essentially, obviously free of charge, right? Regardless of the outcome of the application, which I think, if you're a startup, you're listening, if you are eligible, I would personally just jump on board, because you would be able to relate to so many people that have done this before, or they could potentially help with any mentorship or advisor, right? So almost a year from the competition, you guys are at a different stage. You both are fundraising, and Dariusz, you also gave us a bit of glimpse into the pilot program that is currently unfolding with UiPath. The competition was a validation once again. So what has changed for Neurolabs and Salesbook? And I'm curious to know more from also with UiPath, how the relationship is going. What are you guys still doing together? But also, I'm sure that might have attracted more interest from other investors, perhaps, or any customers. So anything you can share with us on your evolution of your companies, and maybe we can start with Dariusz.
Sure. So although we got this award in the scale-up categories, from time to time we still like to see ourselves as a startup. So we are still there. Right? So it's a good information. And yes, in terms of cooperation with UiPath, it's like I said, it's an ongoing process. I really do not expect things happen like this. especially if we are talking a serious business applications of our solution, and trying to include something in a let's say a big and thorough process of implementing UiPath solutions. So we are patient. We are communicating with the top managers from UiPath and doing our best to finalize it. I must also underline that there is a nice piece of benefits in terms of consulting and advisory. We have access to one of the top US marketing manager, and this person is really helpful, and she gave us like an instant feedback about like everything we do, our website, our campaigns, our general visibility, our way of communication, and especially when we are talking with her about our approach to potential approach to US market, she is really straightforward about what needs to be done before we even think about trying. So this is also a valuable piece of information that we got from UiPath, and it comes. What is really valuable for us, it comes straight from the experience and not from like the articles on the internet or some smart books, but a person who's done a marketing on the US market is telling you what works there and what does not. So it's brilliant for us. And in terms of our company itself, we achieved like the break-even point this year. Probably we would like to spend this money, of course, spend and develop a little bit more faster. That is why we are still fundraising, because we believe that Salesbook can be a global player, but something like a bridge to A round needs to be done to speed up it a bit. That is why we are in the middle of this process. Hopefully to close it as well as Remus till the end of this year. Yes, and like the pace of acquiring new customers is pretty okay for us at the moment. So everything like seems to be quite okay. What we are expecting, and not because we are greedy, but we want to give this excellent experience to every company in the world, is that we believe we could speed it up a bit, but the fundraising is needed when we think about it.
Right, and I know this is off topic, and you probably have heard this question a lot, and I don't want to talk about the pandemic anymore, but it's almost inevitable. Would you say that what happened over the last 12 months also accelerated the pace of acquiring customers, or was it in fact much harder to sell when, essentially we're still talking about a new technology?
Well, for us, it was even a little bit easier because Salesbook is, like I said at the very beginning, it's a platform that helps you not only during this face-to-face meeting when you are meeting the customer offline, but also face-to-face meeting during the Zoom or Meet or wherever you used to meet with your customer. So for us, when we since day one of every lockdown thing, we started this communication that, well, guys, you can also like save this customer experience during the online meetings, and we have like case studies even covered by the press that some of our customers, like which thought, well, maybe it's a good idea. They were able to improve their sales up to 54%, something like that, during the pandemic. So at the very beginning, they were so afraid, lockdown, pandemic, what are we going to do? What is going to happen? It's the end, it's game over. And we told them, well, guys, you can do the same, just like you have to teach your sales representatives to use some maybe new tools, and it was like Zoom and all those kinds of applications. And at the end of the day, it appeared that it works like a charm. So it was pretty okay for us in terms of sales growth.
Great, that's great to hear. And Remus, what about yourself and Neurolabs in the last 12 months or so?
I don't know where to start from. 12 months.
Oh, it sounded like a lot of things have happened. So just tell us.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, about the collaboration with UiPath, as the winner of the startup category, you get many perks, like many things. But what was very, very useful was definitely the contact that we got to have with some specific teams within the UiPath company, because UiPath it's a very large company at the moment, and I think it's very important, if you have something that you want to test out, it's very important to be able to reach out to talk to the relevant people, to the right people. So we managed to have some really good collaborations with their tech team, like the immersion lab that Dariusz mentioned in the beginning. But at the same time, we had some really productive meetings with their marketing team as well. So they try to help us both with concrete things, but also with a lot of advice. And for us, being quite an early stage, it was very, very useful just to be able to receive all this advice. And apart from that, we also had access to some of the senior management people from UiPath that could advise us on things like strategy. So kind of like they, in a way, they kind of like continued some of the conversations we had throughout the selection process, which was very, very encouraging for us to see that, we won the competition. They didn't stop looking at us, or like being interested in us as a company, not necessarily in Neurolabs bringing value day one to UiPath. So I think we really appreciated this, and it's similar to Dariusz's situation. All these collaborations are ongoing. Things are not happening super fast, and it's kind of like normal when you deal with such a company. But things are happening, and it's very much up to the startups, to the scale-ups, to ask for help or like guidance. I mean, don't expect them to come and tell you what to do or what they are doing wrong. They're super good at giving advice, but also helping you out when you need some. But when you have like some concrete needs or like problems, you deal with. And specifically, the collaboration with UiPath was very, very valuable to us as a company, because as I mentioned previously, one of the reasons why we decided to go ahead with this competition was the one related to validating the automation space, and UiPath was a great partner in helping us do that. Having UiPath next to you is opening many doors. But what I would also like to point out is that don't think about these collaborations like you and UiPath and that's it. I mean, within UiPath, there's an entire ecosystem, and through UiPath, you can have access to that ecosystem. So in our case, we soon realized that as part of our validation process, we really needed to talk to kind of like the consultancies, like some of the consultancies that specialize in deploying or like implementing UiPath technology. So, first of all, it was very easy to find all these consultancies, or like the main ones. And then UiPath offered on many occasions to make intros, or like even like when we reach out to them directly saying, hey, we work together with UiPath, we want this collaboration. It was, everyone will listen. So it made our life a lot easier, and it definitely accelerated our exploratory process. Now, where we are in terms of a company, we changed a little bit. Before, I would say, running into the competition, we didn't have like a very clearly defined product. We were more at the level of working on various different implementations, kind of like on a project by project basis. However, over the last 10 months, we migrated towards a product, which is a platform. So finally, I can say that we matured as a company to the level where we are able to package our technology into a platform, and that's our product. And this aligns very much with our strategy to scale and to put this technology in the hands of the people that really need it, and that's the computer vision engineers, the automation engineers, it definitely helped a lot going through all this process with UiPath.
And speaking of acceleration, Remus, what's next for Neurolabs? You mentioned the fundraise. Are you looking to a company expansion, expanding your team? You just talked about establishing a strategy and the product changes. Maybe just giving a future outlook in terms of where you guys are going.
Yeah, so I mentioned the product that we have currently, which is this platform. It's still very early days. This platform is still just kind of like a small part of a bigger product that we have in mind. So one thing we did over the last few months was to actually take a very quick shot at trying to imagine how kind of like an end-to-end computer vision platform would look like. And we realized quickly that it's a daunting process to build such a platform from day one. So we have to kind of like take some baby steps. As part of the plans for the future, so we start where we are today with this platform that focuses mainly on the generation of the synthetic data, but then we want to add to this synthetic data generation engine, this module, and build around this. So that's from a product point of view. Of course, we are still in the middle of, we'll always probably be in the middle of looking for like a product market fit. Like we are still like exploring a few things. We are not fully convinced about which way to go in terms of the applications that our technology enable. And of course, we like to think about our technology like being industry agnostic and universally applicable, but at the end of the day, you need to start in some specific segments or like industries. And so far, we've been present and quite successful in the grocery space, so in the retail space. And now we get to the point where we are ready to look for a next one, a next place to start exploring. And we need some money to accelerate both our R&D effort, but also our product market fit process. And that's where we are. We were looking to raise money by the end of this year. We would love to extend our team, and we probably need to extend our team. Probably not massively. We are 12 people at the moment, but we have big plans. We just need to align a few things and to continue to get some market validation as well.
Yeah, I think that's you define probably the story of every startup, isn't it? Dariusz, how about yourself? Are you actively targeting right now the US as a market?
No, we are preparing to do so. So in terms of because like 2 years ago we started to change our company a bit, and we decided to be a bit more professional in terms of internal and external processes. So now it seems like many things inside of our company is streamlined in a maybe not perfect way, but the good enough way. Because what we want to show really to the investors is that we are also like a well-organized company, so we can give them a proper proposal in terms of how much we are going to grow in a certain amount of time. So we put a lot of effort, and one of this effort is to prepare company to be able to be to sell in a very well like repetitive way in almost every part of the world. And of course, definitely US market, because of its size, is always the nice target to take into account. Yeah, definitely. If you ask me if we are a little bit afraid of doing this and maybe like burn like a ton of money, of course, but we believe also that we have a certain business model that it's already proven, and we did the thorough research in terms of US market, and we know some KPIs that we should need to take into account, and definitely we are not crossing out this market. So it's not that we are now actively targeting and trying to sell it no matter what, burning every penny on this market, but definitely we are a company that is prepared to sell there in terms of internal, external processes, proper people on board, proper visibility and materials that we are going to share with our leads and so on. So definitely we will try. I'm not sure if it's going to be rather organically, or maybe we will be a little bit, we can establish a little bit more stronger presence there since day one. However, definitely we want to try, because like one of the founders said, sometimes you need to have this big idea and think boldly from time to time to achieve something. However, like we know exactly what the risk is.
Yeah, and I mean, I was thinking about asking this question, and obviously, you know, you guys have already fundraised, and the history of your companies is also quite interesting because Remus, you are Romanian. Is the company also registered in Romania, or is it just in the UK?
We have a subsidiary in
You're
Romania.
right. And Dariusz, you are equally in Poland, but also in the UK. So essentially, I think it's probably fair to say you are also centrist in European startups. And it's always been the case for some of the most successful companies. I think when they reach a certain ceiling in terms of funding or even business development, to immediately think of, if not the UK, because it's probably the first one to come to mind, will be the US, right? And I think the times...
I don't want to be misunderstood. It's not that like we have just one target and it's US and so on. Like we are thinking about many countries. We did really thorough research based on real data and not these reports that you are like getting from Google about markets. We did our own research. We almost know every single company in every country that we take into account that we want to touch in terms of sales and marketing process. What is more, we also know a lot of people that even in these countries that we want to touch, and definitely US is not like one and only.
No, of course, yeah, exactly. So what I meant is that probably now times are changing. So if maybe 5-10 years ago, you would maybe fundraise a seed round, and then you would immediately think about scaling outside the CE region. I think there's a lot more opportunity in the space, and something that I believe, in my opinion, we're kind of witnessing the first wave of founders that have either exited or they are serial entrepreneurs already, thinking about the second or the third startup, coming back to the region, essentially investing in the talent that we have here. So I think that this space is quite exciting and it's changing really fast. So
what I can add is that what I observe is that when it comes to talk a bit about our region, the Central or Eastern Europe, there used to be this situation when we had almost our own VC ecosystem, which was not so developed, right? And now more and more companies from the West Europe is interested in our region, and lot of things are changing now because the money is bigger, the tickets are bigger when we talk about the West European VCs. But what I'm experiencing from like maybe 6 or 12 last months is that even bigger money is coming to Europe and also to the Central Europe, and this is also going to change because the like huge investors are coming to.
That's right. That's right, and I think Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that probably we and they are also looking what is going on in the Central Europe. We used to be a little bit alone in our own like a very small ecosystem, but it's going to change like in next year or two, like significantly.
Right. I mean, just probably exactly what you said about VCs focusing on this region and putting money into the region. The best example, the most recent one, it's Axo, who just launched a new fund, I think the third fund to date, and over 30-40% of the total size, it's actually going towards early stage startups in Europe. And yeah, I think there's still a lot, obviously, to be improved. For example, international investors, they still remain a minority, unfortunately, in terms of investing in the region for obvious reasons. Probably it's a bit more difficult to understand the region from a legal standpoint, but also the mindset, the startups are quite different. The valuations are actually quite different from the US, for example. But it's an exciting place to be. And I think obviously there's a lot of opportunity for growth still in Europe and then targeting other countries. Just as a final, as some closing remarks especially for the startups listening, do you guys have any final tips for them in terms of the application? I mean, you've shared a lot already in terms of the questions and how thorough they are and how much attention you have to pay. Is anything that you would have done differently, or you feel like everyone should know before they apply?
Just don't be afraid. If you will not try, you will never know. That's it.
Good.
Don't be afraid to fail. Like if you fail, you will get some knowledge. It's going to be a valuable lesson for you. Maybe you will get some feedback, and it also gives you a proper knowledge about your idea. So just get rid of any fear and just apply for this competition. Definitely.
Thank you. Remus?
I think from my side, the thing that came to mind now is really, if you truly believe that your product or your technology is adding real value to what already exists in UiPath. So if you can take your technology or like product and combine it with UiPath to show something new that can result out of that, I think that's very powerful. And yeah, try like get your hands dirty, like try out the UiPath technology, see if there's a synergy, but like beyond just like theory, like actually do something, implement something. It doesn't have to be anything very complex, but just showed how you plus UiPath can create something new. And I think that's gonna be very, very impactful.
Great, thank you. Thank you both for taking the time and being here today. And all I can say is, again, congrats for everything you've achieved. Dariusz, I hope the pilot and the relationship and the collaboration is going well. And also to both of you, wish you best of luck with closing the next round of funds by the end of the year, even closer. And for everyone listening as well, obviously the streaming will be available across Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So you can always come back to watch it. If you're interested in applying for the award, there's a link dropped in the comments. I believe the applications are closing fairly soon. So I think you guys were right. It's until the 1st of September. Any more information and checking your eligibility criteria, it's on the website. And of course, for anyone that it's applying to UiPath, regardless of the outcome, you've heard from Dariusz and Remus, there's a lot of advice coming throughout the process, which I think is pretty valuable. But also through Wolf Summit, we would like to offer any of the startup that is fulfilling the application a virtual pass to attend the summit in October. And I hope to see you guys there as well, if not in person, at least virtually, and continue this conversation there. Thank you all for coming today, and enjoy the summer.
Thank you. You too, guys.
Thank you.